Live on WFLA Now. This is Run for Fun with running enthusiast Leigh Spann.
All right, welcome back to the WFLA Now Stream Center for this week's episode of Run for Fun, a show designed to spread that crazy notion that running is in fact fun. You just have to know a couple of really key concepts. I'm your host, Leigh Spann. I'm the meteorologist here at WFLA, but also, as you just heard, of course, I am a running enthusiast. And actually, one of the things that I love so much about running is actually the running community. I mean, that's where I get so much support and sort of continue to develop this love of having fun while you run. And we wanted to bring that to you a little bit. We decided to create a virtual running group. And right now, there's about 73 runners in our run group on Strava. We'll get a little closer look at this. And so right now, all those 73 runners and walkers interact with each other. They keep us all motivated. All you need to do is download the free Strava app for your phone. And you go to the groups, search for the WFLA Run for Fun in the club section, and we hope to see you there because it has been so much fun to watch this group grow. And joining me in the Stream Center right now is Tampa running coach Maria Williams. Coach, good morning. We're helping everybody find that fun and run.
Good morning, Leigh. We sure are. And with the Strava group, this morning I actually forgot my watch for my workout. Okay. So I actually held my phone and used my Strava, which has no laps, so I didn't have a clue what I was doing on the track, but I ran by feel, and it was really quite interesting.
So what Maria is saying is a lot of us have a digital watch that also has a GPS attached to it, so we are sort of locked in on it sometimes. And this was a different way for you to...
To be quite honest, when I found out I forgot my watch, I was like, you know what? I can do the workout later in the week. And then I was like, you know what? This is what you set to do today, so you can run by feel. You tell your runners to run by feel, you can do it.
So she just carried her phone, and you recorded it on
Mostly
Strava.
It was just so I could get credit for 4 miles because I'm tracking my miles for the year this year. But otherwise, I would have just done it on the track completely by feel. But it ended up being kind of fun, less pressure.
Yeah. Yeah, and not constantly.
Yeah, you're not. Yeah, because no sense to look at your watch and break your stride.
Yeah, because if you see people, it looks like they're wondering if out running, and you think, why do they keep caring about what time it is?
Yeah,
they are not. We are looking at the speed and the distance and all the good stuff. So, we had this on Apple Podcasts and Spotify, and I wanted to show you that we got a review on Apple Podcasts from somebody who we don't even know. We've got
it's not your mom, Leigh?
I don't think it's my mom. So thanks to CGAFL727, they gave us 5 stars.
Oh, great.
He says this is a really fun show. If you're interested in running, I definitely recommend. So thank you to CGAFL727. Because we appreciate it and we want people to continue that. We obviously, this is a live version on Facebook. It's not live on the WFLA app, but then it goes straight to, once we're done, to Apple Podcasts and Spotify so that people can continue to listen and share it with other people.
Yeah, and the more reviews we get, the more it gets out there. So keep giving us reviews. Tell us what you'd like to hear. We can build the show around what you guys want. So
we like that. So I wanted to show, one thing we want to do. Check in with Nick.
Woo.
There's our buddy Nick.
Look at that guy right there.
Look how much fun you're having while you are running.
Look at that smile.
So if you're just joining us, Nick is our 5 a.m. producer here at WFLA. And I asked him if he would let us train him for a 5K. And so he is going to do the Gasparilla Distance Classic 5K. I signed him up, so I already paid your money, so there's no backing out now. And
here we go. Should be a good time.
About 14,000 other people will be running on Bayshore Boulevard February 24th, I believe. It's the third Saturday in September. So, in February coming up. So you just have a couple of weeks. So good morning, Nick.
Good morning, Leigh. How are you?
Well, I am great. So this is near the end of your day. Nick comes into work before midnight every night. So 9 a.m. is near.
Yes.
He's usually already back home. So thank you for staying.
Usually back home, usually going to bed, but we're good.
Do you eat before you go to bed?
Yes.
Yeah, I was going to say.
Yeah.
Did you eat already before this?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. Bacon, egg, and cheese.
Oh, yeah.
So
that is delicious.
Yes.
It's one of my real guilty pleasures.
Oh,
I
yeah.
love a bacon, egg, and cheese biscuit. I think it goes back to when I was growing up. That's how my mom would wake me up to go to school. It's like she'd already been to Hardee's. My little town didn't get a McDonald's until I was older. But when I was younger, she'd go to Hardee's and she'd bring home a bacon, egg, and cheese biscuit, and that would get me out of bed immediately. So it is still
Things I find out about Leigh.
yeah. I have no qualms with fast food. People get on me, but that's how I grew up, and I still
It's okay.
still
Oh,
love
that's
it.
great.
All right, so Nick,
Yes.
you texted me this week.
Yes,
What'd you
I
tell
did.
me?
I was very disappointed last week.
Okay.
I did not have a good training week.
Tell
it
me
wasn't
about
good.
it. How come?
So,
What wasn't good?
Well, got my new shoes. I was really excited. And then I actually called out of work the next day. I felt very sick. So I didn't feel good, wasn't, in the right mindset to run. I don't know what it was. It was just a cold, didn't feel good. Then the next day, I had to go home for a wedding. So
Back to Philadelphia.
back to Philadelphia. I landed. There was, of course, a little bit of celebration because my sister also, now she was pregnant. She's getting engaged.
Congratulations
that's
to
so
So I'm like,
her.
exciting.
Yeah.
love was in the air, and the last thing I was thinking
And so were
about
cheers.
was running. I was
Yeah.
like, I was celebrating with my sister, and I had the wedding. So that was, Friday, Saturday. I did run the first day I got back. I think it was my best run yet. It felt good, running in my old neighborhood. Then I came back to Tampa. Eagles played, had a little late night. Just a lot of things impacting my workout schedule and my run.
And what did I tell you when
I just got very distracted.
but what did I tell you when you were calling basically to text me to say you were sorry?
Yes.
I said?
I did, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I said, it's cool.
Yeah, she said, it's okay. And Maria doesn't want you to push if you can't. But here's the thing. I should have pushed. Like, I get down on myself for not doing more. I should have done more.
Here's where people mostly go wrong in this whole scheme of things is they miss a few runs and then they're like, oh, I'm a failure. I can't do this. And then
Yeah.
a few runs turns into 2 or 3 weeks of no runs and then 3 or 4 weeks of no runs. So the best way to handle it is just jump back on the horse this week, scratch last week. We can call it a recovery week. That's what I do.
And here's the thing. I did my 3 runs.
Yeah.
I
Oh,
did the
you did
hill.
them.
I got it in
Oh,
Sunday
I thought
night.
you skipped them.
Oh no, I cannot skip.
then
I'm
that
on
was that was
Strava. I have people watching me. I have a lot
And
going
that was
on.
not
here.
a bad week of training.
I know. My mom's commenting. I'm like, I can't let my mom down. I have to get back out.
That's also the thing with Strava is that there is some
Yes.
there is some accountability.
Yes,
But-
which I love the accountability. I also love that you got the workouts in anyway.
Yeah, it
like
felt
that's why we did 3 workouts because it's manageable, right?
Exactly.
So we just want manageable, and even though you had a crazy week, you were able to get them in. I thought you skipped runs, so
Oh no.
that's awesome.
I
Like
can't. I
you
can't
did
do
great.
that.
I
Yeah.
think you
I have
did
to get ready
great.
for the 5K. Come on.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
why we're here, right?
So what about the hill repeats? So you got all 8?
Yeah,
in?
last night. Yes.
Okay.
It was good. Now some of them were like 45 seconds, like
Rather than a
going
little
up
bit.
the hill,
Yeah.
coming back down, and but that's why we had the sausage, egg, and cheese today. We're like, all right, we did 8 hill runs.
Yeah.
Let's have a sausage, egg, and cheese.
And don't let perfection ruin good.
Yeah.
It was
Yeah.
you were out there. It was good.
Oh, it felt great.
I would consider, even
And-
though you had all
yeah.
that going on, I would consider that a good workout week, even though it didn't feel probably good.
It's like you said, like when you forget your watch, you think like it throws you off a little bit. When it's
Yes.
not what you want, your
Yes.
schedule, what you're used to. There's a routine. You look at the watch, you got your Strava app up, you feel good, the new shoes are laced,
Yeah.
the new socks are on. It was wonderful. And then your sister announced she's pregnant, and then you have a
Yay.
wedding, and then there's,
Yeah, and
whole
this
bunch
is
of other
life.
stuff.
Like
Yeah.
I'm in the transition with a move, and so like last week, what did I forget last week at the track? Oh, I forgot to eat, which I never forget to eat. And I was like, okay, well, I'm just gonna run easier, and because I said I was gonna run, like because I'm not in a place right now where I think it's a good idea to just skip it. So there are times when you should skip it, but if you feel like you're not gonna harm your body, then do less instead of not doing it at all, just to keep the discipline going.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And did you notice any difference between last week? You did 6 hill repeats and 8. Did the 2? Did you feel stronger?
Yeah,
Like,
I felt good. I did a different hill, so that was different in itself. And also, like I felt like I was leaning forward more because the bridge was definitely more steeper incline. This one was, not the same at all, nowhere near it. It was definitely a hill, though. I had to make what's due because I couldn't get to the bridge at that time. I woke up late. It was going to be late for work. I was like, I got to get this in. So I had 30 minutes, and I had to do what I had to
Well,
do.
our boss is listening right now, so thank you for not being late to work.
Yes, I had to run for fun, and then
I have to run for
have to
fun.
run for fun.
I have to let Strava know what I'm doing. Do it for the gram, do it for Strava. We're gonna do it for Strava.
Yeah.
And so Maria posts that workout on Strava as well. So if other people are, whenever they join, if they're trying to do a 5K, they can start back and kind of look back through the Strava app and our virtual running group and say, hey guys, I'm going to start this training. And then you can follow along with Nick. And you did this, Maria, for me when I first started. Rather than speed work early on, you gave hill repeats to get their body stronger. So kind of explain why that is in case people are just now starting to train.
Yeah,
them.
it just makes your legs stronger and your cardiovascular system stronger so that you're not kind of shocked by speed work. And we are going to start speed work this week. I also am doing everything by perceived exertion. And mostly it's because with beginners, I really want you guys to not be overwhelmed. So this week's workout, are you excited?
I hear speed. I'm like,
Yes.
oh, but I'm
We're
already
doing
sweating
something
right
a
now.
little bit different this week.
Okay.
So you're going to warm up the same with your 10 minutes easy and then your 10-minute cool down. But in between, you're going to do 4 times 2 minutes. And I'm going to give you a prescribed effort level. So the first minute, I want it to be moderately hard. And the second minute, I want it to be hard. And then you're going to take a 1-minute walk recovery in between each
Okay.
one.
We're
All
gonna
right, so you
Let's do
run
that
for
again.
10 minutes.
run for 10 minutes.
And then you're going to
Super
do
easy.
And you're going to do 2 minutes
Yep.
at a moderately hard pace.
No, yes. Well, the first minute of the 2 minutes is going to be moderately hard, and the second minute of the 2 minutes is going to be hard.
Okay.
So you're still starting conservatively and getting harder,
Okay.
right?
Yeah. So 10 minutes run. Now we're in the 12th minute. I'm sweating. I'm pumping.
Yeah.
I'm going.
You should be breathing heavy, really
Okay.
heavy
Okay.
by the second minute. So
Okay.
you're breathing heavy, but don't go all out that first minute because you won't be able to make it through the whole 2 minutes.
Exactly. Okay.
But I want you. That's why I'm saying go out moderate effort and then get faster as you go.
And then you take a minute
In
recovery.
between
What
recovery.
we call granny jog.
Yeah. And you can walk or
Okay.
jog. I am okay with walking or jogging. If you're
Okay.
going to jog, though, you got to do it granny style because
that
that
heart rate.
means like the slowest.
So really use those kind of like,
Yeah.
use those hips.
You're barely moving.
Okay.
Yeah.
Barely
Little
moving.
shuffle
Little
for a minute. And then
For
you
a
do
minute,
it
and then
again.
you do it again.
Okay.
3 more
and
times.
then do it 3 more times.
Total
So a total of 4 by
That
2
sounds
minutes.
good. I'm actually, okay.
Yeah. It'll be
good.
fun. I think you'll like it.
Now, is this going to be every run this week?
No. Just that one workout.
Okay. So there's still 3 runs.
Yes. And I am going to change one of your other runs too.
Okay. This is good. This is a great week. Yeah. I come off of a bad week and I come in here and I get something good for me.
Yeah. See?
I'm actually
It's
really
all
excited.
so exciting. Okay. So we're going to add 5 minutes to one of your runs.
Okay.
Just 5 minutes easy. So you're going to 25 minutes.
Perfect.
Okay.
Okay. That sounds good. And it's Gasparilla weekend, so I need to get them in.
Yeah.
Don't,
this weekend's
don't
gonna
plan
be-
on running on Sunday.
Definitely not. I'm definitely not going to make it out on Sunday. But
Me-
okay. I'm trying. I think I'm going to do tonight and then Thursday, Friday.
Yeah.
So
That's good.
that might be my schedule this week.
I love it.
And then, this weekend,
And then have fun.
got to celebrate Jose. Is it Jose Gasparilla?
Jose Gaspar.
Jose,
Yeah. So actually, the runners in the community also love Gasparilla for this, the parade, because they shut down Bayshore
it's so
Boulevard
fun.
early in
It's
the
so
morning.
fun.
Yeah.
So you'll see hundreds of runners out because we get to run in the streets.
Oh, it's so fun.
And I mean, you've never
that's
seen
awesome. Okay.
happier runners than when we get to run in the street. We're waving at each other with people we don't know. And
Oh, that's awesome.
This is what I say. Like, you can really find the fun in running.
Yeah,
You will never see
for
more
sure.
happy runners than those people, than all of us
Yeah.
running on Gasparilla Open on Bayshore.
it's just a little different than our regular schedule, our regular schedule. So we get excited about new things.
That's
It's fun.
nice. Yeah. I just drove down there, before I came here. Just going for a nice drive. Went to Woody's, had to wash the car. A lot of people out running. Look very beautiful. They're already putting up the gates. It's just the excitement is great.
Yes,
I
it
love
is.
It's a total vibe right now.
It really is. It's a
All right, Nick,
beautiful
we'll
day,
let you
too.
go get some rest. We appreciate you staying up a little late for us.
No problem.
And
so-
I'll write it on Strava so that if you don't remember, I'll write it on Strava so you can go back and look.
Okay. I appreciate it.
But
It
I'm
sounds
proud
like a
of your
good
week.
workout.
You did a
Yeah.
good job.
I appreciate it. Yeah. So, well, I'll keep you guys updated on Strava. Let's hope we get some more people to join. It's going to be fun.
And again, it's a free app, and you can get sort of free coaching from Maria as far as a training schedule. So
yeah, it's a lot of fun.
All right, Nick.
It really is. All right, well, guys, well, take care. I'll see you tomorrow, Leigh.
All right. Thanks, Nick.
Take care,
Bye,
guys.
Nick.
All right. Well, Maria, today, people have been, like, if you're watching us, you've been seeing it at the bottom of the screen, avoiding comparison traps. So this is one of the things I was thinking about is that in this digital show, in this podcast, or whatever, however you're listening or watching it, we have some episodes that are really physical. Like, you need to run, you need good running form. You need these kinds of shoes, this kind of gear. It's real tactical.
Seems like it's a lot, isn't it?
But then there's other things that you need to know about to find the fun in running mentally.
Yes.
So there are some physical things that you need in order to find the fun in running that you're not physically hurting, but you can mentally hurt yourself just as bad. And one of those ways is by these comparison traps.
Yes. There's a lot of mental traps that we can get into, but today we're just going to talk about comparison.
Yes.
But yeah, your mental game has to be strong. It has to be strong.
And so we're going to kind of go through these, but I just wanted to show people what we mean by that. So where you might be comparing yourself to other people, which we know is in general can be tough not to do, but can really,
especially on Strava.
Yeah. Again, we know that we've created this, but we hope that it is a joyful group of people who help to kind of build this love of running. Don't use it in a negative way by trying to compare yourself to how fast people are running or how far they're running. Certainly in this day and age of social media, comparing bodies is, not just bad for running, bad for mental health. And then even to your former self. So we'll start by talking about just what you've seen in runners over the years in this comparison trap. What do you see that happens? How do you see them falling into that trap? And then how do you help get them out?
Yeah. So it's a lot. I don't even know where to start on this, but there's so many different comparisons that make a difference. And I'll start with speed because that's the one, because we have watches now. We all have that tell you all the exact pace you're going. I myself, when I'm comparing my speed, typically I feel better about myself when I'm running faster on my easy pace by my watch. I'm not usually comparing to other people, but my watch, I can notice that, oh, my easy run was a little faster today and that feels good. And I don't love that, only because your easy run just doesn't matter. Like you can go, 2 weeks ago I ran with Chris McCaffrey and he's a 2:30. I think he's a 2:33 marathoner now,
which is
super
very
fast. He runs a 5K at like 4:55 pace. And he ran 10-minute pace with me. And we had this whole long discussion about how it just doesn't matter. And for 10-minute pace for him is 5 minutes slower than his 5K pace, which is insane. But he's like, Maria, it's zone 1 and 2. And I know this. He's a coach. I'm a coach. So we both know this. But it still kind of creeps in when you have a pace on your watch. So the first thing I would say is when you're comparing it to your watch, if that is something that you tend to do, then change the screen on your watch. Okay. Change the screen so you don't look at it so that you're truly running by feel. Because I've had a lot of people say, well, I can run X amount of miles and I can talk to people. But talking is just not a good representation. Like I can run 8:20 pace on that's too hard for me to run on my easy pace and talk to people the whole time. So that's not accurate. So really try not to pay attention to the watch. That's the first thing.
Because going back to when you first started talking about this just now, it's that you said, I feel good when I go a little faster on my easy pace. And if you're listening, you probably thought, well, good, she feels good about that. But that's actually the trap.
Yes.
Because the trap is it makes you feel good.
Yes.
But what it does in the long run is it can continue. You're continuing trying to be a little better than you need to be because that needs to be a slow run so that you don't hurt yourself.
And then compound that with putting my easy run on Strava, which that is not a trap that I tend to care about. And that's mostly just because I know the science behind it. So it doesn't bother me as much. But a lot of people don't understand that. So they have to and they're like, well, she's running faster than me. I should run faster. or if I want to run faster, like my friend, because she's faster, I should hit her paces. But the reality is you have to hit your own paces in order to get faster. And I had this coach once, Kevin Leathers, shout out Kevin.
Shout out Kevin.
He has can't stop endurance. He has a podcast too, but I was running with my friend Megan, who I love Megan. She's one of my really good friends, and she's naturally just a better athlete than me. She's not a runner though. Which she'd kill me for saying that because she runs a lot, but she doesn't run races. Like she just recreationally runs. And I just loved running with her. And Kevin was like, I don't like your easy run pace. It's too fast. And I'm like, but Megan and I are having so much fun and we're talking the whole time and I really love it. And it makes me feel good to run with her because it makes me feel like we're the same. And we're not the same. She's in much better shape than me. But he was like, well, it's okay. Do you want to be a recreational runner and just run for fun? Or do you want to get better? And I'm like, well, I guess those are two different goals. And I think that's a thing. If you're a recreational runner and you don't care about getting faster, you can play with that a little bit more. But if you care about getting faster, you might not be able to run with the friend that makes you feel good.
So, yes. And when you have all these ways of checking in on people,
Mm-hmm.
like Strava, there's plenty of other apps that allow it. And you might just run with a group of people or see, like you said, run with your friend. If you are constantly thinking about, what are they running? What does that mean I need to run? Even if you're just starting, which it can be a bad habit to get into. I just say that because I have people, when they start running, inevitably they will come to me and say, what do you run? How fast do you run? And they're really asking to get information. And I try not to tell them. I say, whatever you're doing is fine, as long as you are out there, because I don't want them to think that I put in 10 years of work. Like they shouldn't be doing what I can do. So, and that's okay.
Yeah.
I couldn't do it 10 years ago.
And also genetics plays a role.
Yeah.
Like we're all like, I think sometimes runners get into the trap of just saying, well, if I just put in the work, I'm just going to get faster, which yes, if you put in the work, you're going to get faster. But there also is genetics that play a role, and how fast you're going to get and will get and how long it takes is a lot genetics. And so I would say even like my older runners to my younger runners, my easy pace is much different now than it used to be. And I'm pretty similar runner. So it's because of my recovery, because I'm older, I have to run my easy run slower so that I can hit my pace work on the other days. So if I was comparing myself to somebody who's 30 and can run 9-minute pace on their easy runs, and I have to run 10:30 to 11-minute pace on my easy runs, but we are the same athlete. We have the same times. If I tried to hit 9-minute pace, I'm going to be hurt.
Yeah.
And I'm going to be struggling and I'm not going to be able to hit my paces. So you have to be careful about who you're comparing yourself to. Even if you have the same exact times and you're the same ability.
And even if former you,
Yes.
former you when you were in your 20s,
Yes.
Whatever you were doing, whether you were, playing basketball or whatever thing you used to do when you were younger, if you try to say, okay, now 20 years later, I'm going to try to go do that same thing, whether it's running or whatever sport that you want to be in, you will immediately become discouraged because you're like, oh, if I can't do that, I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to do it at all. And just like how you told Nick, nope, let's just start anew. This is a new person. I'm a new person than I was 20 years ago. And let's start from there.
And there's really a bunch of ways you can do it that people don't think of. Like one of my runners, Cindy, she every time she takes a little time off, or she'll just, in between marathons, she'll just run for fun, basically, just without any goal, which is also fun.
Yeah, which is great.
She resets her watch when we start a new training cycle. So she resets all of her PRs in her watch and everything is reset. And then she does a whole nother cycle again. And that's a way of not comparing yourself to the last cycle you were in. Like there's so many ways that you can. I try to change my perspective. So I've been to a lot of group runs in 20 years.
Yes.
And typically I'm one of the slower ones at the group. But when on race day, I'm not the slowest one by any means. And so a lot of times I have this mentality of, I just don't talk about it. I kind of like to show up on race day when people think that I'm just, an okay runner. And then I just show up and beat them. and it's super fun. So I'm just like, okay. And they're like, whoa, I had no idea you could do that. I'm like, well, I was just in the back paying attention to my easy run because that's what makes me stronger. So if you change your perspective a little bit and actually look at it like, this is my little secret. And this is like Chris was telling me the other day, he has all these gears. Most people only have 2 gears. They only know how to go fast and slow.
Right.
And he has, like, think about it. He has all those gears. If he can run 10-minute, 11-minute pace, and he can run 4:50, he's got all those gears that he can pull out anytime he needs. Like, that's kind of cool.
It's very cool. It's and again, it's nice to like the thought of even comparing myself to that. Like, you know, it's so out of my realm that I can't imagine being able to to be that kind of a spread. I mean, obviously I'm never going to be able to run that fast, but then if I could, what would that mean? That would mean I was basically going backwards.
Yeah.
If I was trying to slow down as much as he slowed down.
Yeah. I mean, and his form stays very, relaxed. He's able to run more miles that way. He also does some people have to cross train more than others. That's another thing. Some people cannot physically run. Maybe their form is just not as efficient as somebody else. They can't physically run more miles than other people. Some people might think training 3 days a week for a 5K is insane because they train 6 days a week, or you just can't. Some people are biking more. Some people are swimming more. Some people just need the extra rest. Like, there's just so many things that play into. So comparing, you're never going to get an accurate representation.
So yes. So as people are watching this and they're thinking about, building up their miles or building up their endurance, it is easy to ask someone who runs, what do you run? So let's talk about ways that they can use experienced runners without comparing them. So what would you tell a newer runner to say, like, okay, well, if you talk to an experienced runner, what some of the good questions to ask as opposed to just looking at what they run? Yeah,
I don't really like to talk to people about their races ever. Like, sometimes I'll ask people, well, actually I do this a lot. Hey, what's your easy run pace? Because I'm not going to set myself up for failure because I could easily run any of those paces. So I could, I'm not going to say, oh, sure, I'll meet you for an easy run and then have to chase somebody down on my easy run. I know that's detrimental to what I'm doing. So I'm not going to do that. But so I do ask the question, hey, what's your easy run pace? And if it's in my range, then I'll go with them. But I won't go with people that I know are going to run faster. I will run with people that are going to run slower. I have no problem with that.
Right.
If your easy run pace is like 11 or 12 minute, I don't care about that. I'll be glad to run with you.
And that's we've had an earlier podcast episode. We talked about the benefits of these slow runs and why that would actually keep you from being hurt, keep you motivated, keep you enjoying it, and keep you running for a much longer time. And then, so if you go back and watch that or listen to that episode, it's an 80-20.
Yes.
So 80% of all the runs that you do, which if you just heard Maria talking to Nick, should be nice and slow and not painful and easy and fun. And then if you want to get faster, you're going to have 20% of those that are a little bit more of an effort, like hill work or speed work.
Yes. And make sure that you have time to recover from it.
Yes, recover.
So, yeah. And actually, that's what makes it fun. When you're running easy, it just is fun. Your body is not stressed as much. With the comparison thing, we talked about cortisol a couple weeks ago. But like 20-year-olds, they don't really have to worry about cortisol.
Oh, 20-year-olds.
Like
it must be
20
nice.
to 30 is just like you really can run yourself into the ground if you want to, and it's not going to do too much damage. I mean, you could get hurt.
Right.
We don't want you to get hurt either, but you're not going to do metabolic damage or mess up your hormones and stuff like that. That happens like 30s and 40s. So never compare yourself to somebody younger. That's really a really, really bad idea. Two runners with the same ability, you really just can't compare either, because everybody does something different, and there's nothing wrong with that.
I mean, you don't know how many, what their genetics are, first of all, and what their parents did, and what their grandparents did, but you also don't know, what they've done years and years ago that maybe built that aerobic capacity that you talk about.
For sure.
and what they're doing right now, even if you are similar, it's just going to be, there's just no good at saying, I need to run exactly what this person is doing.
The one I see the most comparison when it comes to qualifying for Boston. Like, people are insane about it. And I get it, but it could take some people 2 marathons to qualify for Boston. And I've had runners, it's taken 24 marathons to qualify for Boston. So it depends on the person. It depends on the genetics. It depends on how you eat, how you sleep, what your work life is like, how old you are. There's so many things it depends on that it could steal your joy immediately if you're like, well, she did it and I didn't do it, or he did it and I haven't done it yet, and I should be able to do the shoulds. Like, I hate the shoulds.
Oh, the shoulds.
I should be able to do this, but that steals it. How about staying in the moment and enjoying the journey? That's what I try to tell my runners the most. Try to fall in love with the process of running, and then it comes. When you're chasing it, it tends to steal your joy pretty quickly.
I mean, and that's all we want, built this whole show to not, first of all, if you are lucky enough to find the joy in running, please don't let something like comparing somebody else steal that joy. I mean, it's hard enough. People think running is hard, before you do it. They think, with other sports, it's their punishment. So the fact that there are people out there like Maria, me, and now Nick. We've recruited Nick to find the love and the fun in running. Don't let, as you grow in that, this comparison thing take away the love of just getting out there and tying on your shoes.
I mean, honestly, I haven't even raced in years, and I still love running.
Yeah.
It's probably the one thing that I want for everybody the most, is that you never let anything steal your joy of running. Don't let it. Like, if it starts creeping in, go find help. Go talk to other runners who have done it for years and years, because in order to stay running for a very long time, you have to avoid these sorts of things. You have to kind of retrain your mind to think, you have to genuinely try to be happy for other people.
Yes.
Like, it's the comparison thing can make it very difficult to be happy for other people, but that is part of, making it joyful.
And there's many times that I've said this, that some of the basics of running are actually life lessons. And that is a big one.
Yes. Oh, it sure is.
That actually be happy for someone who did something really good in your field, in your, in your family, whatever it is. If you're really happy for them, that's, that just compounds the joy. And the same thing, if someone beats you or does it is generally faster than you, be happy for them. Like that, that becomes a life lesson, not just a running lesson.
Yeah. My girl, Heather Hawkins, I love her so much. She comes to track. I asked her about the podcast. I said, what would help you? What do you think would help beginner runners? And that was her first thing she said, don't compare yourself. And then the other thing she said was, because she's one of my slower runners on the track, she said, what helped me was to realize that even the faster runners, it's hard for them too. Because I think a lot of people think, oh, we're slower, it's harder for us. Oh, it's faster, they make it look so easy. But the reality of it is, it's still hard for the faster runners. It's the same amount of hard, it's just different. And so when you realize that everybody's in it together and we're all working hard, and the hard can be fun. I'm not here to say that every run is going to be joyful, that it's not going to be joyful. But when you embrace the hard and you embrace the easy, it does make it more joyful. And when you know that everybody's out there working hard, it helps everything. It's not easier for some people and harder for other people.
Yeah, and Heather really nailed it, because you might see someone with that perfect form and they're out there just like a gazelle. Well, guys, it's still not. I mean, if they're running fast, it's still hard. They may look like it's easy, but it's still hard, and that can be fun. Doing hard things can be fun when you master them and things like that. So,
and there are different levels of. I would say there are people that are willing to push themselves harder than other people, and that's okay too. Maybe you're not willing to do it yet, and that's okay. Like, embrace where you are. That's the biggest thing. Like I'm like third track workout back, and I've had multiple surgeries in the last 2 years. I haven't been doing a lot of hard training. And today I didn't feel like really pushing myself so hard yet. I'm like, I just want to be cautious. I'm not ready to do it. And I will be ready. Trust me. I love hard workouts. But today I just said, I'm going to stay within myself. And as long as you're listening to yourself, you're going to enjoy it and you're not going to get hurt. I mean, obviously we can still get hurt sometimes, but
less likely,
to get hurt.
Yes. Well, and then, comparing yourself to former self, comparing yourself to other people on social media, whether it's their body, whether it's what they've posted, the exercise that they did, don't. That's just a don't.
Former self is rough too.
Yeah.
Like if you've had a surgery, or like me, I just had 2 surgeries in 2 years. So, and they were not running related, but it did set me back. And so and I have a lot of runners that are older and they were really faster in their early years, and they just really struggle with, well, I used to be able to do this and I used to be able to do that. And then, or like my favorite is like in the 30s when we're like crazy fast in their 20s and they're still trying to hit their same times on the track and they're always hurt. And I'm like, if you just embraced where you were,
30s are great.
Yeah.
40s are great. 50s
Your
are great.
30s and 40s can be really great, and you don't have to be injured every 2 seconds. If you just pull back a little bit and not try to be the person that you were, not try to embrace it again, the same theme, embracing the person that you are now will actually make you faster.
We'll end it there. So remember that these lessons are running lessons and life lessons.
Sure is.
Be proud of who you are right now. Be present. Be proud of other people and whatever they are accomplishing, because comparing yourself, whether it's running or work or marriage or kid, whatever it is,
absolutely,
it's only going to steal your joy. And if we can just grab a little joy in running, don't let that slip away.
And honestly, if you just can't, like if you're just a person, there are some personalities that just can't get out of the comparison trap. Yeah. Get off social media. Get off social media, because then there's nothing to compare.
Right.
Just see until you're stronger and because I do like the community. I think the community on social media is really great if you can get out of these traps. That's great. But if it gets to the point where it's overwhelming and you just can't, take a break. Take a break and get rid of your watch. I've gone periods of time where I just didn't use my watch for 3 months. At least, I can see Leigh sweating. She's like, "How did you do that?"
But if I should also self-reflect on that. If that caused me to generally go, I don't. How would you do that? I might need to take a break, because it's
Well, heart rate is another one. Right. That's why I actually went to counseling over this stupid issue, because I kept comparing my heart rate to what it used to be. And so I'm like, well, and my counselor prescribed me he prescribed my husband to hide my watch and my heart rate monitor.
That's a really good counselor.
Yeah.
As opposed to trying to give you some drugs to make no.
Yeah,
Just stop looking at it.
Because guess what? It was stealing my joy. I was obsessed with my heart rate. And there's so many variables in heart rate. Why am I obsessed with it? And probably I was jacking my heart rate up with anxiety, worrying about my heart rate. So, there's just so many things you can compare yourself to. And it's just, I say all these things because I've done all these things. I'm not over here preaching you, hey guys, do this. I've got this all figured out. No, it's because I've done everything wrong first. So.
Well, and we appreciate her continuing to impart this knowledge on us. So I hope you guys have a wonderful week. Maria will post Nick and your training schedule. Because it's schedule. It sounded British there. Schedule. Yeah. Schedule. So yes, and please join the Strava group and use it as a community to lift others up. You can just do one little thumbs up is a kudos, and you get an email that says someone gave you kudos, and use it that way, and don't use it to stress out and compare.
Yeah. Do the workouts this week and then fall in love with the process.
Fall in love with the process. All right. Bye, everybody. We'll see you next Tuesday.
Bye.